Ladies and gentlemen, Japan just threatened a financial nuclear bomb on US, and that doesn't spell very good for all the trade war negotiation between US and Japan. And this is likely to be the outcome also for China and US. So let's just watch on and see what's the implication for the world economy, especially the stock market. Remember to hit subscribe for the trade war outcomes are very volatile right now, and we update everybody on a real-time basis as we get to see what are the interesting things that will happen. And let's just go on. These are our usual disclaimers. Not telling you to buy or sell. This is not financial advice. Let's go. So, a quick word on elections. So, the PAP government clearly has won a powerful landslide victory. Now, while a lot of the opposition supporters are very sour about it, let me just tell you that this is not a Singapore only trend. In Australia, in Canada, incumbent governments have just won landslide victory as well. Now, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you a very important thing that the whole world right now is focused on getting their country and their leaders to be ready for the trade war with US. And more importantly is that the focus on punishing incumbent governments for high inflation, that mood is long gone. So that explains why we have a powerful victory for the PAP. So now what I've been saying for the last two over weeks certainly has come to pass that people are much more focused on trade war and all this. So that's the reason. So let's just move on from this, but no, that's the single biggest reason why the incumbent governments are winning elections. So this is the man everybody is looking at, and he's powerful, he's volatile, and he's causing all the concerns and chaos. And let's see what is happening right now on the trade war negotiation arena. So Japan has signaled that he's willing to use what some people refer to as the nuke option, and that's because it is America's largest foreign creditor. They hold $1.1 trillion of US Treasury, and this is a powerful bargaining tool in a very tense standoff with Donald Trump. So the trade negotiation representative and Japan Prime Minister is really at a point where they know that we need a stronger leverage, and he basically says that there is no breakthrough in talks with Trump administration. Everybody rush in thinking that the minute you start talk, things are okay. Utter rubbish, right? So, according to the Prime Minister, he actually said, we have not reached a point where common grounds have been found. It is very difficult to come to a negotiation in trade negotiations. In this kind of trade war where it's confrontational, it's even worse. So, if you recall, we invited Minister Ong Ye Kung over. He was a trade negotiation for Singapore and US free trade agreement. It was very difficult. He said, take a long, long, long time. So I don't think that we're going to get anything resolved quickly. So I think there is optimism that is probably overdone in these trade negotiations. Okay, but let's see, shall we? So no country holds uh, treasury debt more than Japan, right? So if the US get hit by Japan dumping US treasury, that will hurt US quite a lot. So the Japan finance minister is basically warning US that them selling the US bonds is a cut on the table. So how does it play out? So if US play hardball with Japan, Japan could start dumping US Treasury. This would in turn cause the US interest rate to go up and make financing of a US budget deficit even worse. So this would strain homeowners and corporate borrowers. Now, the Japanese government wasn't quite threatening to do so, but acknowledged that the possibility represents acknowledging the possibility represents a surprising turn of event. That means they are not throwing as a big threat, but just mentioning is enough to get people in US sit up really. So this strategy could carry costs and risks for the seller, as well as potentially tanking the value of their own bond holdings and cause massive disruption through a currency market. So Japan will also be hurt if they sell down the US Treasury because it holds a lot of it. But in the event of 反正都是要死, right? So might as well 同归于尽. So the idea is that if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna bring you down with it. I think that's the spirit right now. Now, to understand how powerful US trade negotiation is right now, let's take a look at a non-trade war related one, and let's take a look at the real war, which is what Donald Trump aimed to do. He aims to resolve the Ukraine-Russian trade war within 24 hours. Now, 100 over days have passed. Nothing has progressed. So right now, Washington basically says that, okay, I have enough of this nonsense. Why the hell I get myself involved in this? So right now, it's basically US will not fly around the world to mediate the Ukraine peace talk. They have enough. So the State Department in US announced a marked significant shift in the Washington approach after months of stalled diplomatic efforts to get Kyiv and Moscow to agree to a deal to end Russian 3-year war. So US said that while it remains committed to a peace effort, but it basically said that I'm not going to play mediator anymore. We are not going to fly around the world at the drop of a hat to mediate meetings. That's now between the two parties, and basically they say they have enough, right? So this represents a significant shift. So how good is US negotiation skills? We always thought that Donald Trump is so good in negotiation, right? Clearly not the case in a case of a real war. So after weeks of effort by Trump administration to broker a ceasefire, it basically failed. Secretary of State Rubio has basically said that in a matter of days, they'll decide whether this is doable or not doable. And then now he says that Washington is ready to move on from the ceasefire. So basically, they have enough. J.D. Vance, the vice president, basically says that the war is not ending anytime soon. It's up to the Russian and Ukrainians now on each side to know what other terms of peace are. Basically, he says, I have enough. Okay, I have enough. So, Trump finally said this, if one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say you are foolish, you are fools, you're horrible people, and we're just going to take a pass. See, everybody have enough. So, what does it say of the ability to bring negotiation to an outcome? I don't think it's very high. So this is the case of real war. I think in trade war is also very difficult. So Donald Trump pride himself with this book called The Art of the Deal. He always pride himself as a good negotiator, and he is. But that's in a commercial world, in the level of just companies and so on. Now we are bringing up to macro geopolitical level. I don't know whether it's so easy to cookie cut the skill over. I just don't know. So right now we're all waiting for these two gentlemen to start talking, right? Or at least they are kakian start talking. I don't think that they're able to come to any form of settlement easily. Okay, but I think they could start talking, and the whole market will respond just because they start talking. So on Friday morning, a spokesman for Chinese Ministry of Commerce announced that Beijing was assessing the possibility of trade negotiation with US. And I just want to say this, and please read it carefully, okay? China's position is consistent. If we fight, we'll fight it to the end. 奉陪到底, fight it to the end. If we talk, the door is open. But if the US want to talk, it should show its sincerity and be prepared to correct its wrong practices and cancel unilateral tariffs. Basically, it says, unless US is prepared to cancel unilateral tariffs, then right? No point talking. Yeah. So the key takeaway is this: US Treasuries, is currently very risky. I think there's a lot of risk forward in terms of movement. I need to take more position in US Treasury because I'm overweighted on equities. But for those people who are trying to punt on US Treasury, I just say that just go in with our eyes open that there's a lot of risk given what Japan can do. On those people who are very optimistic on trade war resolution, I will also say this, that trade war negotiations are unlikely to have quick breakthroughs and good outcomes very quickly. So don't be overly optimistic. You decide how this thing goes, but I think it won't be resolved very quickly. And we are still waiting for the end of 90 days to come and see what happens. Canada, Australia, Singapore are all bracing for impact, given that they all voted for the incumbent governments to lead them forward. They know that this is not easy. And I think that we shouldn't be overly optimistic as well. Okay. This is a highly volatile outcome. For me, I don't think I need to bail out with all my usual positions in Nasdaq, in S&P 500, world diversified index. All these I think I can keep them. For those in high leverage positions, I will be more cautious about it. So I'll just do a wait and see, watch and see approach. Ready deploy, but if nothing happens, I just stay and watch. So the US-China negotiation is likely to commence, okay, or fail very quickly. And we'll just watch this space very closely. Hit subscribe if you want to make sure you get real-time updates. And when I do see some of these clearer signals, I might just fire. Okay, so don't miss this real-time update and click subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in a day or two. Bye-bye. This is B and myself. And every time we land in Korea,
You want to eat?
the first thing we come and eat is something very exotic. Okay, I know we're at 7-Eleven. This are looking for our lunch because nothing. So we just arrived in Korea and we're looking for the most exciting lunch ever. Of all the wonderful food that we can eat in Korea, my wife and I always look for cup noodle and some of their liao here. So just to show you what liao they have. Yeah. So these are some of the liao that they have. We super love. Okay. Yeah. These are, to be frank, I don't think it's very healthy, but you know what? Yeah, I think they taste nice. Okay. I'll show you later. So we bought the chicken drumstick and then the chicken leg and 2 of these cup noodles. Okay, my wife is super excited. And
My
then go
favorite.
to all the great food of Korea. This is a super favorite when she comes to Korea. Right, first meal of the day, she must eat all this. Excited, B? So I'm opening up right now. Whoa, look at that, man. Okay, look at this yummy thing. Okay. And then the other one we have got, whoa, steaming chicken drumstick. Tell me this is good. Okay, exciting. So it's very nice. The 7-Eleven has place to sit and eat one. So quite cool, right? So we're gonna try right now the yummy stuff. Feed me, is it?
You know what's this? Chicken feet.
Super nice. Wow. Cao lại. The chili very spicy,
Who is it?
but nice. All this together, about $18 Singapore dollars.
This one is super nice. Chicken feet.
I think this is the best.
Yeah, super good.
To die for, man.
Check your noodle. Ready?
Okay, you see, not quite ready. This looks very good. So, but this one you can buy in Singapore.
This you can't
This
get in
one
Singapore.
can't buy.
It's really, really very, very nice.